If you were making the big rounds of cheese, that's what these little seed cheese heads look like. But you can gather them; they're edible. And but this guy's mom used to saute them like with onions and butter, and so the little seed heads. These leaves have demulcent properties, soothing. So this is going to be soothing for sore throat, anything in the alimentary canal. So from
soothe the
throat,
mucous membrane
ulcers,
as well.
Any like itis, any colitis, anything like that could also be improved with a mallow-based tea. Actually, a broad-leaf plantain.
This one right here?
Yep.
Okay.
There's broadleaf plantain and there's narrowleaf plantain. They both have similar properties. They're strong ribs on the back of the leaves. And these have the medicine in there, so if you're itching from a bug bite, maybe not right here, but we'll look around for some, or you can use one of these, but we'll look around. And so what we would do is pinch that off, roll it up, and pinch the medicine from it, and then rub that on the bug bite or the wound, that kind of thing. And so plantain topically is one of those others similar to the fillery, but I would choose plantain over that because it's smoother.
Apparently, can be used for even like a rattlesnake bite.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
In a poultice, yep.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
And internally, it's a natural diuretic, so you might want to put it in kidney relief formulas. We'll see some cleavers later.
Actually, I've seen that.
And I might mix the plantain with cleavers and nettles as a diuretic. I think that's good for plantain. Catching it before it gets mowed.
Here it is.
Oh, and actually up on the hill too.
Is this something different? Is this the same, but younger?
That's like a wild geranium.
It's the whole plantain before it gets mowed, huh?
So here's some good examples. This is plantain. But you see here as time goes on, no, this is going to maybe grow in your yard. There's actually, or Storks Bill or Crane's Bill. What we're looking at, let me see where the stork part actually was right here. I'm going to just gather it. For the Storks Bill, as well as like the fillery flowers, will also have the parts like this on it that make it look like a stork's, that look like a stork's bill. Known as Salsify or oyster root, the root is a small white carrot-like root, and it can be used as a survival food.
Can be used as a survival food. And this is the Salsify.
But it's also known as oyster root.
Oyster root. Okay.
Dandelion has toothed long leaves, and these are
No, you're good.
not like that. You can come close and look at the leaves. But this is going to open as a flower, and then in the fall you notice that it has like the similar dandelion seed head.
Yeah.
Dandelion,
Dandelion.
plantain.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So it's
Yarrow.
the soft feathery leaves, and then when it's going to have white compact flower heads. Or like one of the ways I use yarrow too is I make a strong tea, and this is like a little signature that says it's going to help you with kidney stones.
Okay.
So I would mix the cleavers with plantain and nettles, perhaps, depending on the person. Maybe some burdock. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. Miner's lettuce is a succulent edible. If you touch it, it's not really hard. It has will have a sour taste to it. But see how the stem comes out of the center of the leaf.
Oh wow. Oh cool.
So this is one of the little unique signatures.
So which one is that?
Very
Miner's
cool.
lettuce. They would actually dip this in bear grease and use it as a torch. Yeah.
That's what my son-in-law wants to do with mine in the yard.
So
I have several
so he
stalks.
can do that. So this is the last year's. This is what it looks like chopped, and there's a small one over here that's still coming up. So it's gonna have yellow flowers on it. The seed heads can be used to make an oil blended with St. John's wort oil for earaches. Can you look up
yeah.
oil with?
All right. And what are we looking at?
You do
Those
need
little
to
teeny
fill,
pinholes.
depending on
Okay.
what you probably start with filling
They
the
look like
plain
little
Zoom in.
white
3/4 of the
dots.
way.
Do you
Gather
see
the
them?
fresh
I see
flowers.
'em, yeah.
I just
Yep, I'm
gather
trying to
the
get it on
fresh
camera.
flower tops.
All right.
So
Little white
once
dots.
again,
All right.
it's
And this
not
is St.
right
John's
now, but
wort
it will be
Yeah.
soon
All right.
when the yellow star-shaped flowers are there. I gather the tops, snip them up, put them in a
On the bridge, looking at Usnea.
Usnea, the green moss. And it's
I was going to ask you, this is the lichen, right?
right. So the lichen is different than the moss. And actually, I noticed. Look at this. It's growing on the bridge. So this is how we're going to. That what we're looking at. Of course, we would never gather it and use it here, and usually it grows in the trees. But I'm going to have you take a little bit. That's the signature for Usnea. Or
Usnea.
Usnea, yeah. And this is a good natural antibiotic. It usually needs alcohol extraction, so then you'd make a tincture. And the tinctures are made, once again, a simple way to make a tincture is to fill a pint jar about 2/3 to 3/4 of the way with the plant material, and then top it off with a charcoal filtered vodka. Label it, date it, say the location, and then you shake it for about 6 weeks and then strain it off. But that's going to be a good natural immune support tincture. And so also again, especially in the cold and flu time, it's against strep, pneumonia, pneumococcus tuberculosis. And one thing that kind of an old survivalist use is if there's a lot of bleeding and you don't have the yarrow around, then this would be another choice to help pack a wound, would be the Usnea.
It's supposed to be high in vitamin C. And apparently Native Americans would take it and layer it with the camas in their pit onion ovens and
nice.
bake the camas. And
Wow.
it changes the taste of the camas. It gives it a different flavor by adding it to it.
Nice, thanks. Yeah, it's more in pieces. So it's in between the Usnea and the other lichen.
I'm gonna have to look for my.
Yeah, I don't know that one is edible.
And what is this?
This is not Usnea.
Oh, not Usnea. Okay, now it is.
To this day, and the flowing of wisdom in our lives and the cycles of life that we often see in nature. Dandelion with nettles, with linden.
Awesome. Thank you.
May I use a little bit of your spray again?
Yes.
The mosquitoes want.
Well, you can tell me what you taste, but mostly it's very green, so it's the nettles.
Yeah.
We're tasting the nettles and a little bit of dandelion.
Reminds me of parsley root tea.
Yeah, so the emotional spiritual properties of this tea would be, the psychological and spiritual health would be that it's going to help us if we're feeling overwhelmed. We're going to see nettles. Nettles is very good for dealing with overwhelm. It's a great adrenal tonic. And then it has some of the linden flowers in it that help support the nervous system. And the dandelion to ground us, the dandelion to help us to root and to anchor, to have all our thoughts calm down and be present in our physical body. So it's very good for centering. I have it in a tea called Nourishing Nettles. So the nettles, and that one's probably been steeping for about an hour and a half. So it's a nice medicinal dose for us.
A tiny bit of liquor.
Years, and you know that for sure. Then you can dig the dandelion. I have a YouTube video called Dr. Linda Digs Dandelions
Oh, that's
Okay.
that I'll
Sorry about that.
see if we can figure out a link for that. But basically, the dandelion root is used for liver health.
Yes.
The dandelion leaves that you gather in the spring before it flowers are used more for gastric, upper digestion, stomach ulcers.
Did not know that. All right.
And the flowers can be used not only to make dandelion wine, but also like for facial steams and things like that.
Wow.
The sap from the stem, you can just gather the stem and slice it with your finger, and that can be rubbed on bug bites or warts and things like that to help them dissolve.
Wow. Guess
Yeah.
I'm going to use those for the mosquito bites we got today.
Yes. Well, and then you can also gather.
This is water hemlock. Oop. Sorry, guys. Okay. So, water hemlock, you want to stay away from that?
See here, though, that I listed horsetail as one of those. Oops. I listed the horsetail. Let's see, where did I end up listing the horsetail? I put it on the back page under one for caution, and topical meaning. I guess I could put external use there. Did you ever run into any horses that ate horsetail?
I think,
Here's the horsetail.
yeah, I remember growing up, they had tons of horsetail on the west side, and I had horses. And I'd see it all the time. I can't remember if they would actually eat it.
Well, because actually it's poisonous to horses.
Yeah.
So what's weird is that it's called horsetail primarily
Interesting.
because it kind of looks like a horsetail.
Yeah.
But I was taught not to use it internally. Primarily it's used like they say it could be used for sandpaper or for scouring a pan, that kind of thing. Quite honestly, I tried it one time when I was camping, with like a cast iron pan, and I didn't find it that useful. But if it's all that you have, then it's one that's going to work that way. Yeah, because it is high in silica. You might see it like in capsules in hair formulas. I remember Dr. Christopher, who's a herbalist from the 1940s. He would have horsetail in one of his remedies, but you need to be careful with it, and so that's why I put it in the caution area.
On it?
Yeah, but it does add nitrogen to the
flowers.
soil,
Oh.
Yellow pea.
so it's good. It's
Not
good for the soil, but it's not good for us. And so just one of those. These might be I call it lomatia just because I use it. That's what the other name, and I use it medicinally, but it could be considered a caution plant because you can get contact dermatitis with it, which means that it's going to cause a stinging sensation.
Right.
This in here is just purple vetch. I don't use purple vetch medicinally. But we also see there's some wild rose. We'll see more wild rose. Wild rose is on your paper. The leaves are used. The leaves can be used. Most berry leaves can be used astringently. So what that would. And then we have another one up here. Ooh, there's something over there we haven't identified yet. Okay, cool. What's this one here? The yellow.
Oh,
Right there.
Oh,
Yes. What was it?
Salsify.
And how do you use it?
It's a survival root.
Nice.
Yes, you eat it. You eat it. You can eat it.
What do we have here?
With mullein.
oh, plant.
Yeah, mullein.
Mullein again. Yeah.
Mullein
Yeah.
again with the leaves.
Now, you see here along the roadside, right, it's going to get dusty. Mullein's one of those that you definitely need to get early in the spring. Of course, someplace where it's, did you say mullein grows on your property anyways? Yeah, so when it's, like this is a good stage before the stalk comes up, but
That's a good time to harvest it. I was wondering when. I made
when
my own
it's
tincture.
cleaner, when it's light green.
Light green. Thank
Usually, when it's young, it's a lighter green. So both the
Wild
petals and the leaves of
rose.
the rose could be made into a tea. Of course, the rose hips are high in vitamin C and bioflavonoids, which makes it just a good prevention during cold and flu season. One of the new remedies with rose hips, I don't think I wrote it down, but is that you gather the rose hips and then just has anyone gathered rose hips before? They take a long time to dry. Do you remember that? And it's easier to use them whole rather than to break them up because there's all those little hairy seeds inside. Then it can become more messy. So I just use them whole primarily. And put arnica in the caution column because we only use it topically or homeopathically.
Okay. And this is arnica, Linda?
Yeah.
Okay. The yellow flower?
The yellow. From the aster or sunflower family.
Awesome.
And really the whole plant, the flower, the leaf, and the roots can be made into an oil. And it's usually good for pain, like my dog, or sprains and things like that. Recently, my dog had a little sprain on his foot. And so I put comfrey homeopathic and arnica homeopathic in his dog food to help him with that, help him with the pain and that. And it's healed up. It took, I don't know, 5 days or a week or so. But we avoided going to the vet.
I'm holding this bed straw. Nature's
Before
Velcro.
I get up.
This has the ball leaf.
Oh, wow.
That probably grow. What's that?
It's very large.
Oh,
This,
this here.
from what I've seen growing around. So
It's funny, I've seen that before too.
Let me see what I have it under. Water leaf, ball head.
Ball head water leaf.
So it's a survival food, and you could also, if you want to try a little bit of this on a mosquito bite, you could.
Use the leaves specifically?
Yes.
Okay.
I got
This is chickweed, huh?
So now I know the difference.
Yeah, and you taste it, and it has, to me, it tastes like beets.
They have the white flowers on here? For chickweed, okay. You can eat the whole stem?
Yeah, they're mine are they're similar but different. They're both edible. This has a toothed flower. See, the flower has a. You could eat the flower.
Before the flowers pop.
Oh, taste that. It tastes like. Well, this is really big. It's gotten a lot of water this year. Yeah,
It's not
it
bad.
tastes like dirt. Or beets.
You're right, that's what I'm tasting. That gritty, earthy, ground, rooty taste of beets.
The whole plant you could eat.
Wow.
You can use it as sprouts on your flash tincture, hot flash tincture.
Chickweed again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw one across the way, but the whole thing.
Use the sprouts on a salad.
So the signature,
Really good.
the signature is the smell and the taste. So you
Okay.
gotta start small, but then once you know what it is, that beet or dirt taste.
And the smell
It definitely tastes like beets.
Yeah.
So it's got the anti-mucus, the high mineral, and the.
Used for allergies. Also mixed with nettles.
which
Nettle tea for
you see
allergies.
over there, but I'm gonna bring your attention here first. So here's burdock. Signature is when you turn it over that it's more, see how it's whiter or a lighter color?
Yes.
The rhubarb has red stems. While this does have some red in it, it's different. But the signature on this one is the white. Did I write that down for you? Is the white on the back of it.
Is this,
burdock-
is this for the famous like burdock root tea?
Yeah.
Okay, great,
Yeah.
great.
So I have there was some redness swelling on her leg. I can't remember exactly what the issue was, but I remember we gathered the burdock leaves and just put them around there as a cooling poultice and tied it with like some grass or something, right? So it's kind of one of the fun ways to use it, but it's primarily the root that's used once again. So it's like you could gather it now. It would be gathered once again in the spring or the fall.
Also, uses for the root tea too. Specifically like patients that had arthritis, crippling arthritis, to help break up the inorganic calcium deposits on the joints,
Can be
bone
used,
spurs, things of that nature.
because it's detoxifying to the liver and gallbladder. The emotional component of burdock is to help let go of resentments. And in the older schools, the older herbal schools that I've studied with, we also look at what's the emotional component, and if there's any itis, anything that's described that ends in itis, arthritis, colitis, well, yeah, because dermatitis, anything of the skin. Remember, the skin is an eliminative organ. So if you're having eczema, burdock root's very good for eczema.
Oh,
To
didn't know that.
drink internally.
Didn't know that.
But did I mention resentments? So if you're holding on to resentments, then some of these itis conditions can occur. It's just a detail as a herbalist that you'll appreciate later
Okay.
as time goes on. That, oh yeah, well, is the constitution, or are they having some, are they holding on to some resentments? Thus the arthritis, because a lot of times, especially, our bodies can stiffen up energetically, right, as we hold on to rigidity in some of the old ways that we were conditioned to, rather than flowing with our ability to choose to let those go. Yeah, these are edible leaves. Oxeye Daisy. It's gonna get a daisy here soon. Edible.
Oxeye Daisy.
Come on and try it.
It's under O, you said?
Oh no, I didn't put it on.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I said, I didn't put, but you can oxeye. So
Thank you.
Oxeye Daisy.
And these leaves are edible, you said?
Edible leaves primarily is the use. Is that it's edible. It tastes good, huh? Oxeye. Yeah, sorry, I may have said I may have said Oxeye.
All right.
Eye. Spelling it out.
Yeah.
Edible daisy.
It reminds me of spinach,
Yeah,
maybe kale.
it's not quite considered a pot herb, but things like places like this, you'd also find amaranth and pigweed. But when I looked the other day, they weren't out yet. They're going to be out later. But sometimes a pot herb are the herbs that you cook.
Okay. You could definitely add this to a salad.
Yeah.
So, very good.
I'm not sure how well it transplants. I do have it growing wild. It comes up. It
Considered a weed.
yeah, it grows. The birds plant the seeds in my yard.
Very cool.
Nettle.
Stinging nettle.
Do I have it under stinging nettle or just nettle?
Just nettles, I believe.
Yeah. Now, it's a square stem. If you touch it,
It's underneath when you touch.
but you can still get it. So on the underside of the leaves and on the stem, there's the little thorns that have the formic acid in there, which some people actually put it on a caution list because of its contact dermatitis. But south of the border, they actually use it to help arthritis
That's what I've heard too.
topically
Topically.
by taking this and then hitting the arthritic places with the leaves to allow the formic acid to go into the joints. And I tried it once when I was out at Laird Park, and the sting stayed with me for days. So
Are the hairs on the underside or the top?
yeah, they're on the underside and also on the
So what I learned is you can fold it up
yeah.
and fold the hairs in.
Well, if you crush it, you do,
And then when you eat it, it's like eating a green bean.
yeah.
Green bean.
That's cool.
You deactivate it by crushing.
The chlorophyll and the green in there contracts the formic acid.
Cool.
No, I had heard you blanch them.
Yeah.
You can cook them. So cooking them is going to, of course, reduce that. So basically, this is what's considered one of the pot herbs, different than pot marijuana, but pot meaning that's just an old word that was used, that you'd put them in the pot to cook them.
Put them in the pot to cook them. Okay.
Oh. So
You
put
put
pretty
it in
good.
the pan.